You know, you're experiencing the same thing that I experienced when I began to deal with my own issues with EDNOS. I went to a psychologist, and as I explained to her everything that I was doing, you know, I said, I've got this great job and I'm married, and then I began explaining all the things that were going on in my head and how much time I spent every day thinking about eating and weight. And she began to ask me questions like, well, are you throwing up? And I said, well, no. And she said, well, you don't seem to be, you know, very underweight. And I said, well, no. And she said, well, I don't really see what the problem is. And so it sounds like you've run into a similar situation with your therapist. So I'll tell you the same advice that I took for myself. Go find another therapist, because you've got to find somebody who's willing to look a little deeper and really understand you are struggling. If you weren't struggling, you wouldn't be spending the time and the money to be there in their office to be talking about the problem. Go find somebody else, and as you begin to, you know, get into that new relationship with them and explain what's going on, the best person for you is going to be someone who sees that this is important to you, and that they'll be able to, you know, help you process why you're doing what you're doing and what you can do to start breaking free from that. Because the reality is that EDNOS, you know, a lot of people think of that as being no big deal. But it can be a big deal. People travel all the time from EDNOS into more extreme eating disorders, and you can even have EDNOS and still be doing some pretty extreme things that can damage your health and certainly your well-being. So yes, it may be normal to be thinking all the time about eating and weight, normal in our culture, but not healthy, not balanced, and not good for you. Go find another counselor and find someone who will appreciate the importance of this issue to you and help you break free.